So we've talked about blackface or woman face or any of the other faces which have been discussed, but I'm here to talk about the diversity face, because diversity face is far more interesting and also something we're dealing with in real time. And this comes back to Matt Walsh, who decided to come out and give a statement where he decided to say that, well, maybe the person doing woman face isn't a woman. That's why they're doing woman face. Otherwise, why would they be doing woman's face? And, well, he made an argument about that was very Rome Total War-esque. Got in some comeuppance from people. Trigonometry got a dispute with him about this, or like, you're being rude and mean and not winning people over. And Matt was just like, go to hell, don't care, and gave his reasons. You can go check that all out in your own time. But that's not the point of the segment, which is, if we go to the next one, we can see the individual in question. This is the most favourite TikTok of theirs. Because, I mean, it's the most woman-faced one.
No, this is what all women are like. This is genuinely what all... Have you ever seen a woman that doesn't act like this? Oh, look, there's a bug, I'm going to fall over.
Yeah, I have.
Really?
Yeah. There's a few of them.
I just thought this...
This is the whole funny thing about the trans movement, where you want to wear a massive dress every day and look as feminine as possible. Women don't do that.
You telling me... Yeah, you telling me this isn't a real woman?
No. And Matt Walsh got in trouble for saying that and saying it was demonstrable. And there was a great point raised by Sean, actual justice warrior, who is a good guy. Because someone mentioned, why is one fake but the other not? Because it's a fad that's going to end up being a huge mistake for so many people. Okay, interesting note. But Sean mentions, more interestingly, why is Dolezal, who by all accounts was a good activist for the NAACP, totally fair game to be mocked and attacked relentlessly? Meanwhile, Dylan over there, who is playing up the most negative stereotypes of bimbo period-obsessed harlot, completely off limits. He's completely right. I hadn't even thought of it in that regard.
It's because the left are misogynists.
Well, they're anti-white. Is fundamental there.
Yeah.
They also do hate women, that is true. But I don't know if you've seen the other stuff from Dylan. I don't know how familiar you are. But he got a sponsorship from Tampax.
Right.
Who put...
Where?
In his anus, I presume. Maybe some bullet wounds. Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah.
He was mentioning he's been walking around with them in his purse for years.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
But no.
Because even like women, like I do know some women, and they don't carry Tampax as a like. This is an expression of my femininity.
It's a fashion accessory.
They carry them because they sometimes bleed, so it's a practical thing rather than a.
I mean, Dylan does live in America. Maybe he'll get shot and walking around an American high school or something.
Right,
and then he'll need it. You know, I think that's what the original purpose was for.
Yeah.
I may be wrong. This may be a complete bunk. Someone told me.
You implying that Dylan could possibly be in a school?
Well, I'm just saying he lives in America.
That sounds like you're
just
implying.
American schools are full of guns.
Implying Dylan is maybe a slight nonce.
I don't know, but he keeps getting invited to all kinds of events. He got invited to the White House, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. That was a big warning sign.
But I don't know if that's true. Someone correct me in the comments whether or not. I got told apparently tampons were made for bullet wounds originally, and they're like, hang on a minute, women.
Really?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. But great point raised by Sean, though, which is that one of them is completely off limits to mock.
Yeah.
And the other one is completely on limits to do whatever the hell you want with.
Yeah.
Take that
and if you mock, then you're being a transphobic bigot.
And I can prove this, because if we go to the left-leaning outlet, the Daily Beast, not the Blaze, what am I talking about? We can see here, race faker Raquel Dolezal, new side hustle, OnlyFans.
I saw these pics. You wouldn't believe. Like, she doesn't look that fit there.
In the chat.
She doesn't look that fit. But she genuinely, she's got like it's like the Nancy Pelosi effect. It's like you wouldn't think, and then the Norks. Oh my God, where did they come from?
My friend, you're being tricked by the camera.
No, we'll show some pics.
I'm not showing the pics.
I'm going to Google Raquel Dolezal naked right now.
You,
I've seen them.
All right,
I remember being like, like almost Ben Shapiro's sister level.
No one's beating that. Come on. Anyway, so they're saying here. Yes, that same Raquel Dolezal who tried to catfish the world as the head of the Washington chapter of the NAACP, claiming she was black, when in reality she's a white woman who wears blackface and teases her hair to mimic an afro to apparently look the part. This is Raquel Dolezal, who adopted African-American vernacular to try and make her persona more believable. The same woman who made the word transracial part of her vocabulary. You can feel the bitterness in the writing, like, what a stupid moron, horrible person, how could she do this?
Yeah.
Thing is, rewrite those lyrics. into Matt Walsh's vocabulary, and we get, yes, the same Dylan Mullaney who tried to catfish the world as an attractive woman, claiming he was a woman, when in reality he's a white man who wears woman face and teases his hair to mimic a woman, apparently to look the part. It's the same goddamn thing. It's the same goddamn subject, which is, what if I believe in my head I'm something else? And while Rachel Dolezal is completely in the right, no one has been able to solve this contradiction. It has been going on forever, and there's a few more examples I want to go through.
Well, and also Rachel Dolezal wasn't coming out and giving the most cartoonish sort of racist stereotype of what a black person would be like. Oh
God, could you imagine if she did?
Yeah.
Oh no.
She's sort of like, she, all this sort of stuff.
We need our money, Howie. It's like,
whereas Dylan is genuinely coming out and being the most sort of offensively grotesque caricature of a woman, and totally not like, there's plenty of trans women who just look like women and pass as women.
So
Dylan doesn't pass as a woman because no women's all like, oh, there's a bee, I'm gonna fall over. You know what I mean?
All we've learned is the trans racials just need to take it 10 times more stereotype.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one's gonna get even worse.
Like they need to pretend they're in a 1970s blaxploitation film.
So there's this Indian guy in 2015 who pretended to be black to get into medical school, and it worked.
Right.
In case you're wondering.
Was it Mindy Kaling's brother? Did it say just there? If you can scroll up.
Yeah. He just shaved his head.
So Mindy Kaling from The Office wrote The Office and wrote Scooby Doo.
And he's like, I shaved my head. I am now a black man.
Right,
I'm no longer Indian. My brother.
Yeah. And did he use any like Justin Trudeau?
I don't think
style?
he needed to, because Americans don't know what Indians really are.
Right.
So they're just brown people. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've got a mate from Sri Lanka, and he's like, if he shaved his head,
if you got brown skin, Americans just can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
They just don't know what the rest of the world is. So they say here that he posed as a black man to get into medical school. And it worked. On his website, almostblack.com, which is an amazing website, he says that he hatched the plan in 1998 after realizing in college that his grades weren't actually good enough to get into medical school as an Indian American.
Whoa.
But as a black American, they were. So he did 22 applications, got interviews for 11, and offered places at 4 universities, including an Ivy League one. They were just like, you're black.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I totally am.
Did he actually say that he was black, or did he just leave it inferred?
I think he left it inferred for all of them. Like, he didn't explicitly say it.
Yeah.
But he did put on a voice and pretend to be.
Can you do that voice, Callum?
No, I don't think he turned up. Was just like, "What's up?" Man? No, he didn't. He didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe he did. I mean, that's the whole point about the racial stereotype. What if he's wearing his trousers? I don't know, way too down, showing off his boxers in the interview.
Yeah.
Did you see Don Lemon?
No.
Recently, Don Lemon. He did a segment in 2013 detailing what the black community needs to do to improve itself.
Right.
Ooh, not allowed today if he did it, but he did it on CNN 2013. And it was just like, pull up your pants, stop littering, stop having children out of wedlock. And it's like, hey. So
it's also good advice for white teenagers in the UK.
Yeah, but it's not allowed to be said of black youth in the modern age on CNN, which would get in big trouble.
Yeah.
But if this guy did do more racial stereotypes, I mean, probably would have. How would they call him out? They couldn't call him out, could they? Why don't you just go full balls to the wall? I don't know. Start walking in. I don't know how far you can go before they're like, hang on a minute, this is just pure offensive. But I mean, Dylan Murphy walking around going, ooh, a bug, is the equivalent of this Indian guy walking in an interview with a bucket of chicken. Yeah. I'm not going to laugh. That is entirely what that is.
It's a deeply offensive caricature.
And if we go to Spike.com, they have a whole bunch more. In 2020, there were a bunch of Canadians who came out as transracial. So it's almost like it was not environment. Sorry, not genetic, but environment that caused this. Morning Star Bear is the name of Carrie, who decided to rename themselves. They chose to express her indigenous identity. Carrie over here, a professor at Saskatchewan University and one of Canada's top health experts, had spent years claiming to have First Nations heritage, but it has now been outed as a bog-standard white Canadian. Oh no. The worst thing ever. Being white.
Yeah. Well, it is when there's systemic bias against you, like with the Indian guy who knew that, or Indian heritage guy who knew that he wouldn't be able to get into the university as an Indian guy because the cards were stacked against him.
Literally. So one of Carrie's colleagues, who is herself from a First Nations background, we don't have any evidence for that, we're just believing. Presumably that person was also playing the game, because it became suspicious when she noticed that Carrie started walking around wearing traditional-looking clothes all of a sudden, particularly when appearing in public, which is really funny. Could you, it's just anything else? Like you just, I'm Indian now. Start turning up in saris to work. I mean, it is like the black guy in America who's like, I'm a Muslim now.
Yeah.
I'm changing my name to Muhammad, and walking around with a little box on the head, and it's just like no Muslim respects this, my friends. They all know the Nation of Islam is a joke. It's not a real organization in Islamic schools. However, she also noticed that Carrie had started claiming to have 2 additional First Nation ancestries. All of a sudden. Because that's how you find out as you wake up in the morning. Earlier this year, Susie Kearse, a co-chairman at the Canadian Liberal Party, Indigenous Peoples Commission, had to resign under the same circumstances. A Radio Canada investigation was unable to confirm her claims that she had First Nations background, and one researcher said that she had no Indigenous ancestral background, going back 7 generations. She was in charge of the Indigenous Peoples Commission.
So she's basically Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, literally. Except she went even further because she continued to speak on behalf of First Nations people, even though okay. Most infamously in 2019, she got a library to find a load of its books offensive, and then the school board eventually pulled thousands of those books from the shelves because it offended her, even though she's Rachel Dolezal of the Canadians, the Indians over there. And they then started a flame purification ceremony in which 30 of the books were burnt. Because it offended the Indian community of Canada.
Were any of those books a history of the Nazis?
I don't know.
Jeez, that is...
What the Nazis did wrong, burn it.
Yeah.
U.S. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren.
That is just... I just can't believe people do, obviously...
Like the evil thing.
Yeah.
I remember in America there was some lady, she was trying to teach the history of the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So she divided the class into Jews and Nazis, and then had the Jews dig their own graves, and then had the Nazis execute them into these fake graves. And all the kids were crying.
Of course. What on earth?
Funniest thing though.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that? I mean, obviously we'd do it. But why would a normal person...
But she was like, why would she tried to defend it by being like, well, I'm Jewish. And it's like, what? She wasn't, by the way.
She wasn't. No. She wasn't even...
Anyway.
Jeez, maybe she was a Nazi.
Elizabeth Warren also claimed to be Pocahontas, as Donald Trump put it.
Yeah.
Was forced to take a DNA test and revealed that, no, she is indeed an Indian. A 1 in 1,024th.
Yeah.
So, not.
No, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other parts there. 1,023 parts, but they have that rule with I think in New Zealand and Australian stuff, and in America it's like the 1 drop rule. So even if it is just the tiniest fractional bit, then you count as First Nations.
But that's a lot of diversity face that we've known about.
Yeah.
And now I have to finish it off with the newest one, which is my actual favourite.
Yeah.
Let's go to
People
the next.
pretend to be Scottish.
No. This Dino over here of a woman is like, I'm not white. I'm everything.
Yeah.
By the looks of it.
I am an advert in 2023.
Yeah, she is literally like, well, we need someone to star in this cover that we're going to put on bus stops. This woman is what it is. Race faker called out by her own mum, who said she's as white as snow. It's just a lot of fake tan, by the looks of it.
Have they got any pictures of her before she transitioned?
No, they contacted the mother, and the mother, if we could scroll up to that middle one, and we'll keep it stuck on that one with the flag, because I think that is just the best one ever. Yeah. You can see the little Allahu Akbar necklace she's wearing, because she's a Muslim. Yeah, okay. A diversity officer, that's her job.
Right.
She's a diversity officer.
Of course.
I was like, well, I have to look the part.
Yeah.
Dress for the job you want. Black up. She allegedly told colleagues she was Latin and South Asian and Arab.
All at once?
Yeah.
Right.
As well as being trans queer. By the looks of it. I'm not even joking. That actually does come up later.
Right, yeah.
She's
interested. So my ex was, she's like half Scottish and half sort of Afghan origin Indian. So like, a bit of a mishmash. But she, this is in 2020, she changed her photo on LinkedIn to be more more ethnic looking, because she said this is gonna help me get jobs.
Yeah, well, it works.
Yeah.
And this lady, it totally did. This is before, I think John just found.
No way.
Which she's got a little, like, what is that? Is that like is that a dream catcher for earrings? The Indian thing?
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, actually, I'm a Muslim now, and now I'm going to dress up as an Asian, and now I'm going to dress up as a Latin American.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, not even Latin American, just Latin. But it's comical, the level of makeup as well.
Most women in Glasgow make themselves that colour anyway, just through sunbeds and fake tan.
Essex. Raquel Saraswati. I'm just going to call her Raquel. Because I can't say that.
Yeah.
A chief inclusion officer at Philadelphia-based Quaker group, American Friends Service Committee, of course, has been accused of cultural vandalism by putting on makeup. I don't think there's any culture being. I think our self is being vandalized. I don't know what else. We're going to the source article at The Intercept because they have the full deets because they called up the mum.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, your daughter. Pretty white, am I right? And the mum went, yeah. Quote, I don't know why she's doing what she's doing, said the mother. So presumably they're not on speaking terms. Mum, you don't respect me. Just want to bring it back to Dylan. Just keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
Raquel over here, her mother added, is British, German, and Italian descent, not Latina, South Asian, or Arab. She's got zero of those identities anywhere near her. I mean, I know Italians are basically black, but she didn't claim to be black.
Yeah.
There's not that. Perrone noted her daughter had converted to Islam in high school. I'm sure a very sincere conviction of religious belief in Allah, not because I want privilege.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure. And at some point, she seemed to have felt the need to portray herself as having a different ethnic identity. Yeah,
probably around the point that white people started being demonized and other races elevated above them by leftists.
It's because she wanted a privileged position in life, and we can literally prove it.
Yeah.
Keep it on this image, John, as I read, because you may notice some oddities in that image. I'll let you say spot it. Oscar Pierre Castro, a human resource professional, helped participate in the search for the committee to fulfill her position. To get the diversity officer, so they were looking at the diversity officer, told The Intercept that she had presented herself as a queer Muslim ethnic multicultural woman.
Right.
She literally turned up with the meme of like, I'm a queer Muslim. Ask the Quran about that. Also, I'm multicultural, multi-ethnic, even though she has none of those. She could have turned up and be like, well, I'm multi-ethnic because I'm British, Italian, German. No, she instead, because those don't exist. Those are essentially just the same thing, which is white. I mean, nothing. But the rest of the world, that's not all just brown. We don't do that. Instead, we play this game of, oh, no, it's multi-things at once, but the other one isn't. Okay. The leader of the Quaker group said that he had been impressed by her credentials and charm, and that he thought she would be a good fit for the diversity and inclusion role because it seemed that there was an element of lived experience. Again, the qualifications in question for getting a job were, are you brown enough? And she was like, I'm 3 brown. I'm brown in 3 places.
Yeah.
Okay. And also in religion, because Americans apparently just think Islam means brown. I think she does as well. Castro added, in my mind, it was great. A person of colour. A queer person of colour. Who happens to be a Muslim. It's a woman. All of these things. And someone who seemed to get it. I definitely feel conned. Yeah, you deserve it. The diversity queen herself, the woman here, released a statement in which she says that, the organisation I work for doesn't require that any employee prove their heritage as a condition for employment in order to be a valued member of the team. So she's doubling down on going, so what? You can't fire me for it.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong.
Yeah. She's found the loophole.
I'm a queer Muslim Arab. And what are they going to do? Say no? Prove it?
Yeah, they can't. You can't like lift her up and see what the markings are underneath her.
I mean, like, I'm in saluting because I'm in awe.
Yeah.
Like, salutes in the chat. I actually have no animus against this woman at all. She is my new queen.
And maybe this is how we defeat it with malicious compliance, like Kayla Lemieux, the big boobed teacher in Ontario. So yeah, if
Fantastic guy.
everybody goes in and says, yeah, I'm trans, if everybody goes in and says, yeah, I'm a Muslim genderqueer Arab,
Yeah,
then
the best one's bisexual because you don't have to do anything.
yeah.
You're like, well, I got a wife.
Well, queer, you don't need to do
Yeah.
anything either. There's, like I said, there's all these comedians who are like,
Non-binary, don't need to do
I'm
anything.
queer, I'm
Trans,
not binary,
you don't need to do
I'm gender fluid, and it's like all those things just mean you're white, basically.
Yeah. The concerns about Raquel, however, include, by some of the members of the organization, that she has a hidden political agenda. In an anonymous letter posted on a medium that The Intercept has confirmed is from those members, they noted that after 9/11, all of a sudden, Raquel became a conservative and started appearing in Islamophobic spaces, they write, such as Fox News, Huckabee Show, as you can see there, American Muslim activist and writer. Why would she do that? She went on right-wing TV shows, they write, where she was presented as a moderate Muslim critic of Islamic extremism. She was literally the moderate Muslim meme. You remember that? It was like, well, we've got to listen to the moderate Muslim. We have a white woman who's played dress-up. And this, you could see it there. This is on Fox News, 2014.
Yeah.
And they had her on a lot, by the sounds of it, because they kept having her on. And as she presented herself as a moderate, whilst changing her political views is not unheard of, Raquel has also not publicly addressed her work from those years, and appears much of it has been scrubbed from the internet by herself. She's not proud of those years. Sounds to me like someone's just playing the game. And I can't even be mad at someone just playing the game.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I hate the game, not the player. Quote, imagine the trauma of people who confided in her, trusted her, and shared sensitive information about their work and their lives, thinking that she was a fellow person of color, said the leader of the organization, referring to Raquel. And now all of a sudden, it's a white woman. Oh no, with a right-wing history. It's scary. What do you... these people deserve it. This organization deserves it. All those people. If you're sat there being like, well, I can't trust one of those damn whites, and then a whitey plays dress-up.
They've created a system that can be exploited. It's like the gender reform bill in Scotland. They say, oh, anybody who says they're a woman is a woman. And people were like, wait a minute, won't that mean that then somebody can say, like somebody who's convicted of rape can say they're a woman and get into women's prisons? And they're like, no, that'll never happen. It'll obviously happen because you've created a system where it can happen. Same thing. They've created a system where they lift up, marginalized communities, whatever they seem. The only marginalized community seems to be
the global minority.
But there's no way of like you don't need to provide a blood sample or anything like that. So obviously people are going to exploit it. They're going to be like, those things that you say are better, and you're going to reward more. I'm those things.
I mean, if I need to go to another job, I've got the Afghan uniform at home. I'm just going to turn up and be like, I'm passionate.
And you've got the beard as well.
What are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
And you will be wrong. And if you want to say that this is someone conning or whatever, I don't even care. Don't even care. Literally, there's no way of getting back at them.
Yeah.
The system is set up explicitly against them, so they have to, like, I don't know, people used to complain about back in the day you had to pretend to be white or something. The exact opposite is now and alive and has been for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Just going through the examples I gave, and good luck to them. Not even mad. And people who are playing that game, I mean, we can talk about ContraPoints of Philosophy Tube another time, but in the trans community, there is, it's not a surprise that you can replace the words with all the vitriol the left has against transracialism.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got a Matt Walsh speech, and, what's the truth of the matter? What do you think it is? Nonsense is nonsense. It always is. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Symposium series, the most recent episode on Carl Schmitt's anti-liberalism. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.